Welcome back to the Fire Break. I'm Steve Wolf. As you know, the Fire Break is sponsored by Team Wildfire. We're developing new technology for putting out wildfires using jet engines. It's pretty cool. Check us out on the web. It's at teamwildfire.com. So, why do we fight wildfires? Well, to protect property, for one, and to save lives, for two. Okay, so this is not rocket surgery here, right? The thing is, we don't want people to die, and we particularly in this industry don't want fellow firefighters to die. And there's a misconception about death. And I didn't really start this podcast so I could, clear up big philosophical issues about life and death and whatnot. But I will tell you that one of the issues I have about how we talk about death is that we don't realize dead is dead. And what does that mean? Dead is dead means if you're dead, no matter what caused it, you're dead. If you were killed in a wildfire, you're dead. If you were killed by a terrorist attack, you're dead. The way we respond to those things after the fact is very different based on how you died, but you're still dead. So, whether firefighters get killed in a wildfire, they got overrun by fire, they got overtaken by smoke, whatever the source is, or whether they die as a result of a heart attack from being startled awake in the middle of the night by a loud alarm, they're still dead. So, wouldn't it make sense to put as much effort into fixing one as the other? The number one cause of firefighter fatalities is heart attacks. So it's not the big dangerous buildings burning and falling on them. It's not the wildfire overtaking them. It's a heart attack. And heart attacks, we've spent a little time working on what causes them. We know a lot about it. And sudden stress is one of the big ones. So, I've got Blake Richardson with us today. Blake Richardson is the CEO of a company called EaseAlert. And EaseAlert, I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans for you here, but it's basically a way to reduce the stress of being woken up by an alarm bell in a firehouse or at your home that triggers levels of stress high enough to be dangerous to your health. Blake, welcome to the Fire Break. How are you today?
Steve, it's a pleasure. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
All right, I didn't spill all the beans, Blake. Tell me, what is EaseAlert?
So, EaseAlert is a more effective and less stressful way to notify emergency responders of a call to action. What we do that's different than the traditional type of alerting is we replace the audible, that loud bell, with a tactile alert. So we have a wearable, actually I've got one right here, that the crew member wears on their wrist, and this vibrates for 5 seconds to let them know you've got an emergency to respond to. We also have bunk alerts. These are lighting devices that shine a red LED, and they also have attachments that can be added to them to provide a bed shaker, LED light strips, ramp up audible alarms, other mechanisms that can provide that alert process in a less stressful, more effective way. To your point, the leading cause of on-duty death for firefighters is a heart attack. But what's even more startling is firefighters are up to 14 times more likely to die of a heart attack during alarm response than non-emergency duties. That's the second greatest risk on the job of dying of a heart attack, only behind fire suppression. That's a problem. We need to address it. That's what EaseAlert's here to do.
So basically, you have the difference. You've invented the difference between, the drill sergeant running on, "All right, you maggots, wake up!" and someone tapping you, "Honey, it's time to wake up. We've got some place to be." Right? So it's that gentle tap that, that any, parent or a good partner knows is the gentle way to wake people up. Right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, your body reacts to loud noise as if you're in a state of fight or flight. So you hear a loud noise, it's a physiological response, you can't control it, that says blood pressure up, heart rate up, pressure inside your head up, body temperature up, everything in a heightened sense. And over the course of your career, when you experience that 5, 10 more times a day, depending on how busy your call volume is, your arteries become inflamed. That increases your risk of myocardial infarction or heart attack or stroke or any sort of sudden cardiac event. So that's what we're looking to reduce. And it's not just at night. That's where it's most impactful when we've been in the field now for 3 years with fire departments and emergency responders, and what we're hearing the most is, "I love this at night." It's way better than waking up to that dang alarm, the klaxon, the bell, whatever you call it. Way better. But it's also really helpful in the daytime. That's also what we're hearing. is it's improving my efficiency. It's allowing me to work out with AirPods in and feel the alert on my wrist. It's allowing me to go do training and jog around the facility without carrying a radio on my strap because I can feel when there's an alert and then I respond to the vehicle. It's giving me a heads up. So I know, okay, I'm in the shower, but I've got a pre-alert on my wrist. I need to get out, dry off, get ready to head to the apparatus. So it's both that efficiency and the stress side of things where EaseAlert plays a big role.
I see. So this is a wearable. And unlike many of the wearables that track a million different things, and I can answer my phone and respond to texts and order food, this is a single-purpose wearable, which I would imagine increases its reliability, and is probably a little bit more reliable than if I were to tie this into my Samsung or Apple Watch.
That's exactly right. It's imperative that this works 100% of the time. We're talking about mission critical alerts. That's why we had to build our purpose-built device instead of relying on a third-party device and creating an app for that. Everybody has a smartwatch or a smartphone, and there are a lot of apps and there are tons of notifications all the time, and the amount of data we're creating every day is just increasing exponentially. The numbers are mind-boggling. But where we really need to show EaseAlert is with a unmistakable, undeniable, reliable alert. So with our device, this wearable has a 5-second vibration pattern
Hold
that
that
goes
still.
high-low. What was that?
I just say hold that still so I can see it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So it's a high-low vibration pattern that is unmistakable, and you can't mistake it for a text message or an app notification or an alarm on your watch. It is, I've got a call, and this red light turns on as well. That's why we have decided and went with building our own device. Other benefits or other reasons why we couldn't go with, for example, an Apple Watch or a Garmin watch or a Fitbit is we wouldn't be able to troubleshoot it if it's Apple's watch. They don't allow a lot of the third parties to come in and see some of the behind the scenes information. We wanted to standardize it, but really we also need this to be rugged. This is as firefighter proof as it comes. I know that's not a thing. Firefighter proof doesn't exist. We've talked with military professionals as well. Marines, marine proof doesn't exist. Understood. Respect that. And they're right. They'll find a way to break anything. But it's as close as we can come to that. And I can promise you it's a lot more durable than a smartwatch that you'd be able to find on the shelf.
Yeah, no doubt. So the system integrates with the notification system within the firehouse or coming right out of dispatch, or how does that all work? Or,
So we can
or
do it
both,
in
I should say, right?
exactly. We can do it either way. We can integrate via CAD, computer aided dispatch. We can receive what's called an API call, application program interface, that interfaces and integrates with your computer aided dispatch, sends a signal straight to our central command unit. That's the brains of our device, the CCU, central command unit. And that central command unit then sends out the signal to our devices at your station or your house if you're a volunteer firefighter or if you respond from your home. So the main way we get it is from CAD API. The other way we can get it is our relay contact closure on the CCU. So I'm getting into the technical weeds. Some of you, I'm sure, are staying with me and picking all this up as if it's kindergarten level. But for others who are maybe less familiar with the technical side, it's either at the station or from CAD. We're agnostic to how we get that. We'll make sure that we deliver those alerts to your EaseAlert devices immediately, regardless of how we get the integration.
And so is there a cellular component to that? I'm driving home, I'm at my house, I'm at the library. I'm
That's
just kidding.
something.
No one goes to the library anymore.
Hey, the library is great, man. You got to support your local library. Go check out a book. We're looking into that actually right now, incorporating a cellular chip in the wearable. As for now, it's 2.4 gigahertz radio frequency, so a Wi-Fi band range on the wearable itself from the central command unit. So we get about 800 yards or a half a mile in the line of sight from wherever we set up the central command unit. And the bunk alerts also act as repeaters. So these send the signal out throughout the station wherever you go, making sure that if you're in the gym or you have a 3-story building with blast-proof walls, we'll make sure that you're getting the alert throughout the premises wherever you go. And we can also set up the CCU in your apparatus. So if you want to be alerted at the store, we'll set up a CCU in your rig and you get notified within half a mile of your rig wherever you go. So we can do that as
Okay.
well.
And you said this is a pre-alert system. So this would imply that there is then an actual alert, if not even a post-alert. So tell me what the difference between pre-alert and alert is.
So each response agency is unique in how they do things. So it depends on your response agency, it depends on your technology, and it depends on your procedures. When we come in, we'll give you EaseAlert. That will give you the wearable vibration, and it will give you the cues from the bunk alerts, which are the red lights, and it will also give you other information and tools at your disposal, things like turnout timers, display boards, station automations, gas stove shutoff, etc. That's all up to you. That's what we can deliver to you. The pre-alert comes in if, for example, you have our EaseAlert activation button. Your dispatcher can, as soon as they receive a call and they know this is a real emergency and my department is going to have to respond to this, go ahead and press the EaseAlert button. That gives you a pre-alert. And so we've seen that at several of our installations where they're able to reduce their turnout times by 30, 45 seconds sometimes, because those emergency calls can take a lot of time. Hi, this is 911. What's your emergency? Okay, what's your name? Where are you? What's your situation? Tell me more. So it sometimes takes 30 to 45 seconds to get all that information. That is a ton of time when we talk about minutes, meaning the difference between life and death. That's where we see the pre-alert come into play, is when you can have that button set up at the station. We've actually, with one of our fire departments that we work with, we've seen a 21% reduction in turnout times for structure fires. That is a significant difference. If that doesn't mean anything to you, go look up how fast a Christmas tree burns.
Yeah.
There's
right.
videos on YouTube that goes up like that.
Right. Unless it's been treated with a retardant.
That too.
Yeah,
or water.
Right.
That also helps.
Right. Water helps too. Okay. So, so the pre-alert gets everyone, hey, you're about to receive information about something you need to do. So instead of the klaxon, right, we can just do the pre-alert. Now everyone's listening. Then you can still have the audible information, just not the audible wake up. But at that point, your body's already alerted and you're expecting it, and it's not creating that stress response. So instead of
That's exactly
klaxon,
right.
we can just jump right into the engine 54, squad 54, respond to at Alameda and 5th. Overturn
That's
vehicle.
exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's for the departments that don't have the ability for a dispatcher to press the EaseAlert activation button or use our dispatch console. They can click and decide which which station to dispatch. If they don't have that capability, we'll just tie in and replace the klaxon. Or if you have something different, we'll replace that with our system. So think about it coming in at the exact same time. That is your trigger. That's your alert. You got a call. And then you receive your information from the dispatcher in the same way that you always would, just like you said, over the PA system and over your portable radios.
Okay. So the real benefit of this is, right, you get that a little bit of extra time, and you hopefully don't get the heart attack, right? I mean, it reduces your likelihood of suffering an on-the-job heart attack because we're taking away that primary trigger of stress, not only at that moment, but on a repeated basis. And most of the things that we do are either good for us or bad for us, are things that are based on repeated habits, right? Not, this happened to me once. Like, okay, once I ate a donut. Okay, so big deal. Eat the donut 5-10 times a day. Now we got a problem, right? So,
exactly.
So you get startled into action occasionally. That's going to happen, right? But the repeated happening is what's causing that inflammation in the circulatory system, which is then causing increases in stroke, heart attack, and all the other things that happen when your circulatory system doesn't work.
That's exactly.
And
right.
I know you're just touching on the tip of it there, right? But
oh, absolutely. Yeah, we came at this from a very scientific perspective, and we can get into that as deep as you want to, or as high level as you want to. But another part of it, in the short amount of time, just from the alarm response, is the cognitive function, your ability to understand information and act upon that information. So when you're stressed, when you're in a state of fight or flight, your cognitive functions are way lowered because you're not able to think through things rationally. You're not able to understand information and deliver actions based on that. When you're not in a stressed mindset, you can hear things, think through things, and respond and do your job, candidly, in a more effective manner. And so that's the other benefit is your own health, but also your ability to do your job.
Very interesting. And this applies, conversationally too. If I called you and I said, Blake, I checked your balance, you're out of money. It's stressful, right? Whereas if I set that up, Blake, do you have time for a conversation about finances? Oh, certainly. Then you can get your head into that framework, and now you're more able to hear what we're talking about instead of just feeling your emotional response to it. So
Exactly.
this device also serves as the, honey, have you got a minute to talk about that there's a fire at 4th and Alameda? Right.
That's right.
Instead
Without
of, get
delaying
up!
response, of course,
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
right,
the key too, is we're not doing this in a way that's slowing you down or taking
right.
away from your response. We're actually improving response times. And so that's the key there, is doing it in a less stressful way, but doing it in a more effective way, in a quicker way. So that's something that sometimes is misperceived is, oh, well, we need to do our job fast. We need to be effective. We need the adrenaline. Yes, agreed, 100%. As a family member of a fire service individual, my dad being a fire captain for the past 20 years, that is imperative. I understand that. And we are not here to make you slower. I promise you that. We're here to make you faster. And we're
Right.
here to
And more
make you have a
focused.
better quality of life and focused. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you're focused on the thing instead of focused on the excitement around the thing, you actually do experience less physiological stress and less adrenaline. So all good. Tell me about the interface part that you touched on earlier. Turning off the stove and other things like that. Are those current integrations with dispatch systems, or is this a novelty that you're adding?
Yeah, so that's pretty common when you look at station alerting systems having smart relays that can power on and off devices. So what EaseAlert does that's unique is the tactile and visual alerts and the personal alerting devices. Also, everything is wireless from our installation. So those things in and of themselves are really the bread and butter that is unique to EaseAlert. What we do that's similar to other station alerting systems is we can provide display boards, we can provide dispatch consoles, we can do station automation. So really, when it comes to station alerting, we can do just about any and everything you would want from an alerting provider, and we can do it typically at a lower cost because we have less installation burden with our wireless installation. All of our devices are communicate on that radio frequency from the central command unit. It allows us to avoid having to tear out all your drywall and run wires from one endpoint to all the devices. So the station automations are pretty common when you look at state-of-the-art station alerting providers.
Okay, so you integrate with that, or you tie into the existing system, but the big part is that you're just replacing this, hugely shocking loud noise with the gentle tapping on multiple frequencies. When you said it's a high-low, are you talking about high frequency, low frequency, or a high tap rate, low tap rate?
Yeah,
How did,
so high intensity, low intensity on the vibration. So it follows a sine pattern where the vibration gets really strong, really low, really strong, really low, really strong, really low. And the purpose of that is based in science that is the most noticeable pattern, but it's also the less shocking pattern that we can use. So you're most likely to wake up to that or to hear it or to feel it when you're working out or to notice it when you're mowing the lawn, but you're least likely to feel that and say, "Oh my God, what's going on? I'm having a heart attack because of this vibration on my wrist." So
uh-huh.
that's why we chose that pattern. It's the most effective and the less startling.
Okay. So while American sirens continue to gently move from low frequency to high frequency in the whale mode, right, the Europeans went right to what you're talking about. Doo, 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 doo. Right, so it's high frequency, low frequency alternating.
Exactly. Yeah, very
Uh,
similar.
what if I want whale mode on my wrist?
We can do that as
Or
well.
chirp,
You
right?
let me know. We'll make it. We'll ship it out to you.
Okay.
So we actually assemble, manufacture, and develop all of these products in-house in Florida, in the United States of America. So everything is USA built and made, and we can program, customize anything you want. You just let us know. We'll put it together and ship it out to you, and you're
Yeah,
good to
you're
go.
probably already doing it the best way, so please don't listen to me on that. Right.
Hey, we get all sorts of requests, and we're happy to take care of the client however they want to be taken care of.
There you go.
We are based in a lot of research and customer feedback, so we do have
Yeah.
our opinions because they're based in feedback and uses, but we're open to whatever the client wants. They're always right, and we'll meet those needs. You know
Right, they're
that.
even right. They're always right, even if they're not right.
Yeah, yeah, you know that.
Yeah. You could do it with Beethoven's Fifth, doot, 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 and then you're still getting that high-low alternation.
That's exactly right. As long
But
as we're
then,
replacing that
uh,
audible alarm, we're good. That's
yeah,
the
and
purpose.
I'm pretty sure Beethoven is public domain now, so there would be no royalties.
That would be nice. As long as we don't have to pay royalties, we'll make that pattern for you. We talk about
Okay.
copyright infringement, that becomes an issue.
Yeah, right. So tell me about the workflow. Let's say somebody's interested in this. I assume they want to demo it first because firefighters aren't going to buy anything unless they get to try it. How does the how does your sales process work?
Yeah, so it depends on where the department is in their procurement process, but it's really straightforward. You tell us you want it. We ask you a little bit of information about your fire department, the technology that you currently have, how you currently are alerted, how many people you have. We give you the pricing for this is how much it's going to cost for this many units, and this is what we recommend, and what do you want here or there. So it's a pretty straightforward quoting process, and then we come out there and install it. It usually takes about half a day per station. So we're in and out. Very different from what a fire department may be used to with a station alerting system. So it's a very streamlined process that we can get in and out really effectively, just depending on how quickly the fire department is ready to move on that.
Okay, and then I assume they buy, you know, what one for everyone who's on duty and some spares and the how does that work? You come in, you there's a charging rack system that they sit on, or how does that happen?
Yeah, they'll typically buy two wearables per max number on duty at a given
Okay,
station. So if you
okay,
have five per shift on a given station, you would want 10 wearables. And that way you have one shift that's wearing the wearables, and then at shift change, the new shift comes on and those crew members have their wearables that are charged, ready to go. They pop them on, and then the off-going shift puts their wearables on the charger. It's a magnetic charging station mounted to the wall right above the radios, so it's easy to see. You walk right past it all the time. You don't forget it, pop it on, you're good to go. And then bunk alerts, usually one per bunk room. They're really bright to light up the entire room. If you have a shared bunk room with partitions, we can split them up usually. If you want to light up an entire hallway, we'll do one light strip usually per hallway, things of that nature.
and how do you clean them?
So it's these are waterproof and designed to be cleaned however you clean your typical equipment. So we've seen Clorox wipes, we've seen heavier duty stuff, whatever you feel comfortable with. Feel free to decontaminate the wearable with that manner. If you tell us, hey, this is broken, we'll just replace the strap. You ship it back to us. We ship you a new one. Um, Same with the bunk alerts. Any hardware that breaks, we'll just replace. That's part of our advanced servicing plan. Um, so yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's a wearable. You put it on and it alerts you, and then you're
So
good to go.
so it seems like you've played a stress seesaw here, right? You've created a device that no doubt reduces stress for the people who use it, right? Getting that gentle tap is obviously going to be way less stressful than hearing that loud alert. Like that makes a lot of sense. The trade-off now is that you've become a CEO entrepreneur and now you've signed into incredible amount of stress for your own life. Uh, Thanks for doing it.
I
Right?
wouldn't trade it for the world, Steve. I've
Yeah.
loved every bit of it. You know,
Yeah.
the alternative for me was to become a firefighter, right? And that's where I was going down the path of, and that would have been just as great. Honestly, I wouldn't have known any different. But then I would have been exposed to the stress of the alarm. So
Right.
take my pick. Here I am, hopefully
Yeah.
reducing stress for all the other firefighters out there.
So how's the startup journey been for you?
It's been a lot of fun, and I'm preaching to the choir. You can attest to all this, but there's hurdles at every corner, and it's always fun to navigate each day. You never know what you're going to get into. Working with some of my best friends in the world, and wouldn't trade the memories that we've built together for anything, and the amount of information I've built, knowledge I've gained, experience, tools, skills. It's the list goes on and on and on, and it's been such a valuable experience, and I'm really grateful for it. Not everyone can say that they're able to work on something that they're able to love doing, get paid to do it, and provide value for others. I mean, it's a pretty special conglomeration there. And so it's been a lot of fun, worth all the pain and suffering that comes along with it. It's not all
That's
that bad.
good. No, it's not that bad. I mean, sometimes it is, honestly. Right.
It can be, but yeah,
Sometimes it's
those
pretty
are
horrific, and sometimes it's amazingly exciting, and everything in between.
absolutely, it
So
definitely outweighs the positives, definitely outweigh the difficulties, without a
yeah,
doubt.
no, and so what I might anticipate is that typically people who are problem solvers, uh, they don't solve one problem and it's not a one and done situation, right? The more time you spend with firefighters, and the more you see the other challenges that they face, you're likely to come out with something else next year, right? What are the challenges that you're aware of now that might not be on your innovation radar, but that you see? Here's another way. Gee, there's actually a second thing in the fire service that could be done better. I know this is a remarkable idea, but where else do you think you might see you focusing your innovative skills?
Oh man, the list goes on and on when it comes to improvements, not just within the fire service, but actually EaseAlert is currently merged with our manufacturing partner called RDM Innovations, and we merged
RDM.
RDM Innovation, and so we've merged now to create more of a wholesome arm of solution providers. So that's going to allow us to tackle all of those problems. So now we have an entire engineering arm of the company, the parent company called CoreTech, EaseAlert being one of the business units within that. So EaseAlert is going to be really focused on delivering alerts, and where we've seen problems that can be addressed within EaseAlert alone are with schools, with silent notifications for school shootings, with helicopter emergency response, notifying emergency responders in their profession, but also at home, notifying not just firefighters, but also consumers. We've gotten a lot of requests for that. Hey, can you give me a device to notify my significant other that, hey, it's time to do X, Y, or Z, or notify my
Unload the
child
dishwasher.
that,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Tell my child that it's time to get up for school. So there's a consumer play there. There are a lot of problems that we can address with EaseAlert, really just trying to keep the blinders on this deal. When it comes to the other problems, I know there are a ton. We need to solve the one right in front of us, and the list is long of where we can go afterwards. But fortunately, with CoreTech and with RDM at our side now, we'll be able to provide all those solutions when it comes to hardware-enabled solutions.
Fantastic. If departments or agencies want to get in touch with you or learn more about this, what's the best way to find out about it?
So you can reach out directly to me at blake@easealert.com. That's BLAKE at EASEALERT.com. Go to our website, just www.easealert.com, or follow us on social media. We're most active on LinkedIn. That's EaseAlert FFAS on LinkedIn, or my personal LinkedIn is Blake B. Richardson. Feel free to reach out. Always happy to have a conversation. Always interested in what problems you are addressing and what problems you need to be addressed and how we can help. So feel free to give me a ring, shoot me an email. Would be more than happy to have that conversation.
Wonderful. Blake, thank you really so much for telling me about this. I reached out to you on LinkedIn when I read about what you're doing, because I saw like this is absolutely one of the easiest ways to save lives in the fire service is to save a life before they get to the fire. All right. So congratulations on the work that you're doing, and thanks so much for joining me on the Fire Break today.
Thank you, Steve. And likewise to you. You guys are doing extremely impressive work, and it's an honor to be on your show, and really grateful to take the time to share what we're working on, and grateful for you to take the time and ask a question. So very excited to continue building and working together alongside with you, but I appreciate your time, and thanks to everybody who joined in.
Hey, thank you. You know what, actually, we're building jet engine powered wildfire suppression. There is no way anyone's going to hear anything working around the jet engine. So I would imagine that there's going to be all types of needs for tactile. What do you call that? Not tactile.
Tactile alert. That's
Well,
right.
yeah, tactile alert systems, right? Just to let you know, hey, the jet's running out of gas or whatever. So I'm sure we'll be speaking further on the tech side of that. And thanks again so much for joining me. My guest today was Blake Richardson from EaseAlert. Check him out on the web, and I'm going to put a link right here on the Team Wildfire website on our podcast page so that you can get a hold of Blake and check out that cool new EaseAlert system. Thanks again so much for joining us, all y'all, as we said back when I lived in Texas. That's the plural of y'all, by the way. And we'll see you at the next one. Be well and take care.